Hi, and welcome to today's Daily Chronicle. Today is Thursday, April 10th, 2025. 20 musicians who should get to go to space before Katy Perry. Katy Perry performs during 2015 Super Bowl halftime show at University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. When the news first broke that pop star Katy Perry will hop inside a Blue Origin rocket and blast off to outer space in a launch scheduled for April 14th, NPR music editor Hazel Kills took to an internal NPR music Slack channel. Quick name 20 artists who should get to go to space before Katy Perry, she challenged. NPR staffers rose to the occasion, though one did point out that Katy Perry isn't entirely lacking in astronautical bona fides, having in 2010 released a song about having intimate relations with an alien. Still, it wasn't hard to come up with many musicians whose extraterrestrial credentials are more convincing. Here are 20 musicians whose space-themed work has forged new paths and opened enough astonishing dimensions in sound to earn them seats in starships, according to the opinions of music critic Ann Powers, video producer Nikki Birch, network response associate Tucker Ives, engineer Valentina Rodriguez Sanchez, and myself. With apologies to David Bowie, Gustav Holst, Gil Scott-Heron, and Sun Ra. The following list is limited to living musicians who could, theoretically, actually go to space. Commencing countdown. 1. Marshall Allen, the heir to Sun Ra, who turned 100 last year, knows better than anyone else that space is the place. George Clinton, the cosmic commander of the P-Funk mothership, was inspired by Uhura in Star Trek. As he told Splice in 2020, Clinton said while the Parliament was recording its seminal album, Mothership Connection, we weren't tied down to this planet for a minute. Elton John, number 3. Rocket Man, the star's first major hit, was inspired by science fiction. Legend Ray Bradbury. It's been used as wake-up music for multiple crews on the Discovery and Atlas space shuttles. Number 4. John Williams. Williams composed and conducted the scores to Star Wars and E.T. the Extraterrestrial, which both won Academy Awards. Star Wars was named the greatest score of all time by the American Film Institute in 2005. 5. Erykah Badu. The fearless queen of neo-soul dreams of living in a space shuttle. As she told NPR's Wild Card, and in another interview, she has shared stories of her frustrated efforts to meet aliens. Bilal, number 6. During the height of the pandemic, he live-streamed his acclaimed 2020 experimental soul EP Voyage 19. Badu appears in one of its tracks. lifting the spirits of thousands of housebound earthlings. Seven, Peter Schillings. While David Bowie is no longer with us, the main character of his classic song, Space Oddity, found a new life in Schillings' 1983 hit, Major Tom, Coming Home. Number 8, Nick Rhodes. The founding keyboardist of Duran Duran is a space obsessive whose otherworldly musical project, Astronomia, with Wendy Bevan, spans 4 separate albums. Through our sonic tapestries, we explore limitless dimensions and transitions in the universe. He helpfully explained on the band's website. Number 9, Thundercat. A protege of Badu who draws from Afrofuturistic traditions. The Grammy-winning musician's songs include Lost in Space and Jamil's Space Ride. Number 10, Rush. After attending the 1981 launch of the Space Shuttle, Columbia, the Canadian progressive rock trio was moved to several songs. Countdown includes audio of real astronauts talking to ground control and has been used as a wake-up song for astronauts on mission. Number 11, Jork. The artist's affinity for universe other than ours are laid bare in Earth Intruders, Pluto, and Cosmogony, as well as, well, pretty much everything about her. Number 12, Africa Bamata. The revolutionary DJ and record producer helped lay the groundwork for later black science fiction, robot cosplay, and Afrofuturism. Put him on a shuttle to Planet Rock. Number 13, Philip Glass. Space exploration figures prominently in several of the contemporary classical composers' operas, such as Einstein on the Beach, The Voyage, and an obscure work based on science fiction novel by Doris Lessing, The Making of the Representative for Planet 8. Number 14, Pink Floyd. Exceeding its own space rock label, the band's connections to worlds beyond include playing live on the BBC's broadcast of the first moon landing in 1969. Former guitarist and vocalist David Gilmour claimed that Soviet communists brought a Pink Floyd cassette to the Mir space station in the 1980s, and NASA used the band's song Eclipse to wake up a Mars rover in 2004. Janelle Monáe. I'm a huge space nerd, Monáe told Conan O'Brien while promoting the 2016 movie Hidden Figures, where she played pioneering NASA engineer Mary Jackson, the Afrofuturist singer whose lyrics include "My spaceship leaves at 10 o'clock," and "I'm an alien from outer space," told O'Brien her dream is to go to space. Someone sent Janelle Monáe to space. New York, September 10th. Musicians Janelle Monáe and Big Boy performer on stage at the BMI Urban Awards at Jazz at Lincoln Center on September 10th, 2009, in New York City. Number 16, Kronos Quartet. Over more than 5 decades, musicians in this venerable contemporary classical group have paid homage to Sun Ra and incorporated space sounds recorded by NASA into their music. There's even a tune from a show in the Star Trek universe that plays homage to the group. Number 17, Bootsy Collins. His signature space bass is shaped like a star. So are his spectacles, and his stellar creative output ranges from songs as Stars Have No Names, They Just Shine, to his work on Parliament's Mothership Connection, and the experimental metal band Science Faction he helped found in 2007. The Grateful Dead. Surviving members Mickey Hart, Bob Weir, and Bill Kreutzmann were nominated by an NPR staffer for the trippy fan favorite Space, which appeared on the band's 1981 live album Dead Set. But the band's tech team also designed monitor systems and headphones that were later adapted by NASA. Number 19, Brian Eno. Few musicians have applied themselves so diligently to imagining what space sounds like. A godfather of ambient music, Eno composed new space music as well as music for the 1989 documentary For All Mankind. The individual electronic notes descend like stars falling from a dark sky. Astronomer Adam Frank wrote in NPR. Number 20, BTS. Why should the band's unearthly popularity be constrained to our planet? BTS songs Microcosmos and 134340, which refers to a lonely little asteroid, and the solo song Moonchild by RM, a member of the group, were added to NASA's playlist for an 8-day mission to the moon on Artemis II in 2024. Members of the South Korean band have also collaborated with Coldplay to create such space-themed hits as My Universe and The Astronaut. U.S. stocks soar in an incredible rally after Trump pauses many of his tariffs. A trader worker on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange at the opening bell on Tuesday. Stocks surged on Wednesday, with the Dow Jones soaring nearly 3,000 points. The U.S. stocks roared back on Wednesday after days of steep losses, after President Trump said he was pausing most tariffs for 90 days. Except for those on Chinese goods. The Dow Jones Industrial Average soared nearly 3,000 points, or close to 8%, as relief spread across investors. The S&P surged more than 9%, while the Nasdaq rallied more than 12%. The powerful rally comes from after days of big losses in global markets, from Tokyo to London, sparked by Trump's announcement last week that he would impose reciprocal tariffs on countries, as well as a universal 10% tariff. But Trump backed down from many of his actions, announcing a 90-day pause on those reciprocal tariffs, except for China. The president said he would raise tariffs on China to 125% after the Asian economy had earlier in the day announced an 84% retaliatory tariff on the U.S. The president added he would continue to impose a 10% tariff on all other countries, despite the pause on many of Trump's tariffs. Other actions Trump has announced, including his tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, still remain, and investors will likely closely follow what happens between China and the U.S., with neither side showing any willingness to back down from their escalating stances for now. A biotech company says it has bred 3 pups with traits of the extinct dire wolf. Romulus and Remus, the pups with dire wolf traits that were bred by Colossal Biosciences, are pictured at 3 months old. A biotech company says it has bred 3 animals with key physical features of the dire wolf, a species that has been extinct for more than 12,000 years. The Colossal Biosciences say it has used novel gene editing technology to alter gray wolf data that then led the birth of the pups. Dire wolves recently featured prominently in the HBO series Game of Thrones. Our team took DNA from a 13,000-year-old tooth and a 72-year-old skull, a 72,000-year-old skull, and made healthy dire wolf puppies, Colossal CEO Ben Lamb said in a statement. It was once said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Today, our team gets to unveil some of the magic they are working on and its broader impact on conservation, Lamb added. Colossal also announced that it had bred 4 cloned red wolves, the most endangered wolf species in the world, and said its technology could be used to help threatened animal populations across the globe rebound. Romulus and Remus are seen at a month old. Colossal Biosciences modified gray wolf DNA to breed the pups. But some in the scientific community object to the Dallas-based firm's claims to have returned the dire wolf, or Anosine dirus, from extinction from its process of using genetically modified gray wolf embryos. It's all very misleading. Vincent Lynch, a professor of biological sciences at the University of Buffalo, told NPR in an emailed statement, "It is not a dire wolf. It is a gray wolf clone with some mutations that make it superficially resemble a dire wolf." Colossal says it extracted dire wolf DNA from 2 fossils, a roughly 13,000-year-old tooth found in Ohio, and a 72,000-year-old inner ear bone discovered in Idaho. The company used what it learned about dire wolves from that ancient DNA to modify the cells of the modern gray wolf, which it says is the closest living relative to the prehistoric species. Colossal scientists made 20 edits to the gray wolf genome, including 15 edits in 14 genes that were the exact extinct variants, to create animals with dire wolf traits, such as a larger bodies and thicker, paler coats. Hope. One of the red wolf clones bred by Colossal is seen at 4 months of age. The company said its technology could be used to help endangered species rebound. That modified DNA was then used to create embryos, which were implanted into surrogate female dogs. 3 healthy pups with dire wolf traits were born,
which the company named Romulus, Remus, and Colossi. Still, critics have questioned whether the three dire wolf pups are in fact the real thing, or a version of the gray wolf meant to look like it. Dire wolves were a distinct species, genetically distant from gray wolves. You can't bring back a species just by making another animal look vaguely similar. Martin Larmousseau, a professor of genetic genealogy at KU Leuven in Belgium, said in an emailed statement, "It's an interesting biotech exercise, but behavior, ecology, and learned social traits matter just as much as DNA, and those can't simply be engineered." In response to some criticism, the company said it was not trying to create an exact genetic replica of the dire wolf, but rather produce animals that can fill the void that dire wolves left in the nature and carry the animal characteristics that were lost when they went extinct. For anyone working on de-extinction, the goal was never been perfect genomic recreation, but rather restoring the functional traits and ecological role of lost species, Colossal said in a statement. The company added that the three pups have actual dire wolf genes that haven't been present on Earth since they went extinct, and that the technology Colossal has developed has immediate applications for endangered species facing extinction today. Colossal has also been trying to bring back other extinct species, such as the woolly mammoth and the Tasmanian tiger. The dire wolf pups live on an ecological preserve over 2,000 acres in size, where they are tended to by a 10-member full-time care staff and monitored using cameras, security personnel, and drones. Four critically endangered Galapagos tortoises hatch at the Philadelphia Zoo. A western Santa Cruz Galapagos tortoise hatchling is shown, one of four that hatched recently at the Philadelphia Zoo. A pair of western Santa Cruz Galapagos tortoises, who are estimated to be around a century old, have become parents for the first time at the Philadelphia Zoo. The arrival of four hatchlings to mommy and abrazo is a first in the zoo's 150-year-old history, contributing to the population of a critically endangered species. Mommy, who has lived at the zoo for nearly 93 years, is seen as one of the most genetically valuable Galapagos tortoises in the Association of Zoos and Aquarium Species Survival Plan. She laid 16 eggs in November, and 4 have hatched since then, the first in February. This is a monumental achievement for our animal care team that worked diligently to provide the right conditions for mommy to lay her eggs and for the eggs to incubate and successfully hatch, said Lauren Augustine, the zoo's director of herpetology and birds. This successful outcome comes from years of hard work studying animal behavior and providing top-level care. The hatchlings will make their public debut later this month, coinciding with the anniversary of mommy's arrival at the zoo. Before their births, there were only 44 western Santa Cruz Galapagos tortoises in the U.S. Philadelphia Zoo's vision is that the hatchlings will be a part of a thriving population of Galapagos tortoises on our healthy planet 100 years from now. Philadelphia Zoo CEO Joel Moderman said, "The hatchlings are a great way to raise awareness, experts say." Sharon Deem, the director of the St. Louis Zoo Institute for Conservation Medicine, said that while the birth of the hatchlings may not have a significant direct impact on the total population of the species, the fanfare they are getting could educate the public and spark interest. These 4 hatchlings, it's everywhere in the news, she said, and I think that's amazing to think about. The population of this tortoise species began to decline in the early 1800s, when sailors and pirates hunting for sperm whales used the tortoises as a food source, said Stephen Blake, Deem's husband and an assistant biology professor at St. Louis University. Now that sounds like a long time ago, but it's really only one lifetime of Galapagos tortoises, Blake said. Some of the tortoises on Santa Cruz Island today were alive when Abraham Lincoln was born. So 1800 sounds like a long time ago, but it's not in the lifetime of a tortoise. Although western Santa Cruz tortoises are still facing threats such as habitat loss and invasive species, Galapagos National Park and the Charles Darwin Foundation have been vital in their conservation efforts, Blake said. However, estimating their numbers can be challenging. While adored tortoises are easy to spot, hatchlings often stay hidden to avoid overheating or being eaten by predators, he said. The International Union for Conservation of Nature classifies the western Santa Cruz tortoises as critically endangered, estimating approximately 3,400 tortoises remained as of 2010. Generally, there are about 17,000 Galapagos tortoises left, according to the London Zoo. More about the Galapagos tortoises. Galapagos tortoises are herbivores native to the Galapagos Islands off the coast of Ecuador. Female tortoises lay up to 20 billiard ball-sized eggs at a time, according to the Philadelphia Zoo. The temperature during incubation determines the hatchling sex. Eggs incubated at 82.4 degrees Fahrenheit or lower produce female tortoises, while temperatures above 85.1 degrees produce males. It takes the eggs 4 to 8 months to hatch. Males can eventually weigh 500 pounds on average, while females typically weigh 250 pounds. In both zoos and the wild, tortoises can live around 100 to 200 years, the zoo says.